So people really like to talk about how chivalry is dead or dying, and to those people, I say good, let it rot, let it die. How about I get my dad's shotgun, put it out of its misery? And before the anti-feminists or meninists get upset, get up in arms, start sending me cringe compilation videos, just hear me out. I mean, you can click away right now if you want to, you have that right. You have all the rights. So let's just dive right into this conversation. So different places have different rules. We have rules that are printed on signs that are sometimes laws, and then there are social rules, things that are observed, learned, and practiced that we don't question. And what feminists, or really all ists, try to do is question the norm, ask, okay, why is this thing a thing? Is the history of this thing harmful? Even if my doing this action feels meaningless and harmless, is it part of something larger that we as a society should be working toward getting rid of? So a perfect example is the subway. I ride the subway every day, Monday through Friday, and I know it very well, and I know that the rules of the subway are don't litter, don't eat or drink on the subway, and also give up your seat for elderly, disabled, or pregnant riders. And I am none of those things, but still, probably once a week I will be offered a seat by a man. Because that's a learned rule, that men should give up their seats for women. And the only time I say yes is if I'm wearing heels, or if I'm carrying a bunch of camera equipment, plus my work laptop, plus my purse, plus probably an umbrella. If there's a man carrying a box of donuts, coffee cup, and he has a giant duffel bag on the floor, that man should probably get a seat, or else there's going to be donuts and coffee everywhere. That should just be the standard, is to assess a person based on the things they're carrying or their ability to stand for a long period of time. Like, those should be the determining factors, not my gender. My second example is elevators. So once again, we have the actual rules. Don't jump in the elevator. Don't weigh more than 4,000 pounds in the elevator. Don't press the 911 fire button unless there is an actual fire. Those are actual rules of the elevator. But there's lots of social rules that everyone walks in, walks to the back, turns around, faces front, and of course, the best rule, that women have to leave the elevator first. So this thing, it happens a few times a week for the past 4 or 5 years of my life. It builds up, it accumulates, and my frustration grows. And so I wrote a tiny poem about it, like I do with all things that frustrate me. So here it is. I'm in an elevator. Inside, it's just me and some other guy. We get down to the first floor and the plan goes awry. See, usually the dude waits for the girl to leave, but today I decided I'm gonna plant my feet. His response was to back up in the corner and motion to me, so I looked at him and did the same thing but exaggeratedly. We both smile and he walks out ahead of me. I thought about that for a while and what it really meant to me. That change is made in little ways and simply, and that it takes more than cardboard signs to smash the patriarchy. So yeah, as the poem goes, I was in the elevator, this dude was like, here you go, and I was like, no, here you go. Like jellyfish motioned to him, and he smiled and then like still expected me to walk out in front of him. So I did it again, and then he finally left, and it's like, god damn, it shouldn't be that hard to break a social norm, like. So in conclusion, if you're close to the door, get out of the elevator. If you're like equal footing, you could step back, you could step forward, but you don't need to do this grand gesture as to be like, you are a lady, please go out ahead of me. Like, it's just ridiculous. Okay, done with that rant. Moving on to continuing the larger rant. I get the dilemma. I get the dilemma. It's like, for men, it's like mental gymnastics. Like, you gotta think about so many things. Oh no, I don't want to be perceived as rude. I don't want to be perceived as rude if I do the norm. I don't want to be perceived as rude if I break the norm. What do I do? You be polite, but if your version of politeness is deciding where, when I sit, stand, walk, I am being controlled by your decisions. Like, it's easy to do the expected, it's justified, everyone else is doing it. And it's less easy to break the expected. And oddly enough, sometimes the honorable thing to do is to just let the 25-year-old woman in comfortable shoes, who is definitely not pregnant, stand and just be left alone for her commute ride home. So besides the I don't know what women want, so I'm just gonna give up trying to figure it out and stick to the norm argument, I also see the this is a thing that's always been done and we can't change it argument. Like, can we change this? Is it possible? I think it is. For example, when I was a kid, me and everyone my age referred to anything lame as gay and anyone stupid or acting stupid as retarded. These were two words that were accepted into our daily vocabulary. But now, after some education and awareness, we have come to realize that using parts of people's identities as insults is not okay. We decided that we were going to erase those words from our vocab. We successfully changed words in a matter of a few years with the help of Hilary Duff. And I think we can change this too. I can't speak for all women, but when a man ignores efficiency in favor of my ladiness, he's just pointing out my ladiness. And to me, my ladiness historically means my weakness. The fairer sex, the weaker sex, these were terms used by highly educated people. These were terms used casually in marketing campaigns. This attitude and these beliefs, they were in society's subconscious for decades. The idea that you should walk in front of me because I can follow you and protect you on your way home. You can have this seat because your legs are weaker and more fragile than mine. Women couldn't do sports because they were weak. They couldn't hold high-ranking positions because they were mentally weak. This is not stuff that I'm pulling out of thin air. The behaviors we practice today are traditions that stem from a harmful perspective about women, damn it. In conclusion, chivalry will only die if we actively stomp on it, so let's stomp on it. Thank you. I'm Hilary Duff, and this has been a PSA. So I don't have the patriarchy, but I do have miscellaneous cardboard that I threw out this week. So here we go. Patriarchy, die. Die, patriarchy. We don't want you here. Ow, that actually really hurts. Okay, the patriarchy won this time, but next time.